There is a specific kind of silence that only exists in a room where someone has stopped breathing. On November 13th, 1974, that silence didn't just fill one bedroom, it filled 6. But here is the detail the police files won't tell you. The rifle used was a .35 Marlin. It's loud, it's thunderous. Yet, the family dog didn't bark. The neighbors' windows stayed dark, and the victims, they never even twitched. Was it a murder? Or was it a sacrifice? Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr. was a troubled man, angry, volatile. But on that Tuesday night, witnesses say he was different. He was empty. He walked from room to room. First, the parents. Then, the 2 brothers. Finally, the sisters. Each shot should have echoed across the canal. It should have brought the police in minutes. Instead, nothing. When the bodies were found, they were all in the same position, face down, arms outstretched, tucked in. The coroner searched for sedatives, for drugs, for anything that would explain why a mother didn't wake up when her husband was shot 3 feet away. The results came back clean. They weren't drugged. They were waiting. 1 year later. The air in Long Island turned sharp. The Lutz family moves in. George and Kathy and 3 children. They bought the house for $80,000, a steal even for 1975. They brought a priest to bless the house. As he flicked the holy water in the upstairs bedroom, a voice, clear, masculine, and distorted, whispered 2 words. Get out. The priest didn't tell the Lutzes. He just left. He should have said something, because on day 1, the clock started. George Lutz wasn't a man who believed in ghosts. He was a man of logic. But the house began to rewrite his brain. He became obsessed with the wood-burning stove. He chopped wood until his hands bled, even though the house was boiling. He began to look like Butch DeFeo. The same slumped shoulders, the same unkempt beard, the same 1,000-yard stare. And then the 3:15 phenomenon. Every night, George would bolt upright, wide awake, his heart racing for no reason. He would walk the halls. He felt like he was being watched by the windows. Those iconic quarter-circle windows that looked like eyes. He didn't know that 3:15 a.m. was the exact moment the Marlin rifle began its work a year prior. The house has a memory, and it was trying to make George part of it. But why this house? Why this patch of dirt? During a renovation, George moved a heavy bookcase in the basement. He found a door, not a door to a room, but a door to a void. This is the Red Room. It's not on the blueprints. It serves no structural purpose. It is a small, cramped space, painted the color of dried gore. The air inside was 10 degrees colder than the rest of the basement. The family dog, Harry, tried to hang himself on his own leash, trying to get away from that door. Legend says the house was built on a site where the Shinnecock Indians left the mad and the dying to perish. Others say a black magician named John Ketchum lived there, practicing rituals to open a gate. Whatever it wasn't human. And it was hungry. By day 20, the haunting stopped being psychological. It became physical. Green slime, thick as honey, began to bubble from the keyholes and the ceiling. The brass hardware on the front door turned black. And then, there was Jodie. The youngest daughter, Missy, started talking to a friend. "He's a big pig," she said. "He has glowing red eyes." George thought it was a child's imagination, until he looked out the window one night into the snow. he saw two red lights, two burning embers, and beneath them, cloven hoof prints. Not deer tracks, not dog tracks, massive, heavy, bipedal hoof prints that led straight to the front door and stopped. January 14th, 1976. The Lutzes didn't leave because of a ghost. They left because the house began to shake. George claimed he saw Kathy transform, her face aging into that of a 90-year-old hag before his eyes. They heard the sound of a marching band in the living room, crashing and booming, yet the furniture never moved. They grabbed the kids. They didn't grab the clothes. They didn't grab their life savings. They ran to the car as the front door slammed shut by itself. They never went back, not even for their wedding photos. The Lutzes passed lie detector tests. They went to their graves swearing it was true. Years later, during a professional investigation, a camera was set up on the second-floor landing. It was triggered by motion. The house was empty, locked. The photo it captured is the most famous paranormal image in history. A young boy peeking out from a doorway. He has white glowing eyes. He's wearing a sweater that matches the one Paul DeFeo was wearing on the night he was tucked into bed and shot in his sleep. The names have been changed. The address has been updated to confuse tourists, but the eyes of the house still look out over the water. If you ever find yourself in Amityville and you feel a sudden, inexplicable chill, don't look in the mirror. You might see Butch DeFeo looking back.